The Role of Spirituality in Counselling with Heather McDonald and Gina Ko, Part 1.
Good morning, Heather. Thank you for meeting with me today. So this is a question I'm going to ask you. What is the role of spirituality in the therapeutic context?
Well, good morning, Gina. That's a great question. I think I probably view spirituality in a therapeutic context a little bit differently than the average person, and that's because I see spirituality in terms of a universal truth for all people. Just like biology is, just like emotionality is, when anyone comes into the therapeutic room, they're coming in with their spirituality intact, whether they call it that or not. And so I see it as a part of the triune person. And so I see biology, I see emotionality, and I see spirituality as one concept or one construct that you need to address while in the therapeutic room.
If you were to define the word spirituality, how would you define that?
That's a great question that I haven't thought much about. I think about it as the actions of the spirit. And so but what the spirit is depends on who's sitting with me. So for me, I believe I'm a spirit being. I believe that my spirit and my soul interact together, and they are a part of my psyche, if you like. And so, but I would defer to each individual person as they would defer their own spirituality, but believe that it's a part and essence of each person that comes into the room, and sometimes the family unit as they come into the room. Spirituality is in our core, if you like, throughout our dialogues, whether we acknowledge it or not. Spirituality is present.
Mhm. So Heather, can you explain how spirituality plays out in your sessions with clients, for example?
Mhm. Sometimes it's very overt, and sometimes it's covert. I believe that spirituality comes from a sense of or need for attachment, and so I would concur with some of Kirkpatrick's work in the 1990s, where he took lots of Bowlby's work and he converted it to spirituality and created models around spirituality. In that theory, he talks about how attachment needs of people, whether that's with their mother, whether that's with their father, whether that's with their intimate partner as an adult, is core to how they interact with one another. And so I believe that that same interactional cycle occurs with your relationship with your inner self, with your deity, with your greater power or higher power. And so attachment is the thread that kind of links it. So as a systemic therapist, like I am, I see the relationship with God, with higher powers, with spirituality as just another interaction cycle that occurs and another place where attachment and secure attachment needs to be understood and nurtured. And so that's where it comes out in my sessions. To go back to your original question, it comes through in my sessions because I'll start to talk about security. I'll start to talk about nurture. I'll start to talk about where do people go when they need to feel safe? Where do they need to go when they need to feel the comfort of that attachment figure? And for many people, that becomes their faith, and it becomes their faith because they've had attachment injury through people here. And if you look at some of Bowlby's early work, even back as far as his work with Harlow and the monkeys, you'll see that we just innately need that secure figure. And sometimes when we don't have that in this world, that innate figure has to be our inner strength, our inner power, our higher power, our Mohammed, our Jesus, whoever it is that we have our closest and most secure attachment to.
Mm. Heather, this is fascinating. I am also infusing, attachment theory and talking about, yeah, those different forms of attachment with my clients. And thank you so much, Heather, for this interview today about spirituality and how it looks like in the therapeutic context. I'm sure students will really appreciate this conversation. So thank you again.